Hello and welcome everyone. This is Laura Rubenstein, President and co-founder of the Social Buzz Club. And today we have a very, very super duper special event for you happening live here with the one and only Nick Unsworth, who has been one of my buds in social media. Look up to him, and we collaborate on projects, and I am really happy to support him today with his webinar on how to make 6 figures with local Facebook marketing, and a sneak peek and on the brand new system he's going to show you on really blowing Facebook up for your businesses, for your clients' businesses, and really just using it in a way that is revolutionary and beneficial for everyone. So Nick, thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this webinar, taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're busy with your launch and all kinds of good social media projects, so yay, thanks.
Awesome. Well, Laura, it's really great to be here, and I definitely appreciate the opportunity. I've spoken with the Social Buzz Club once in the past with you. I had an awesome time, and it was great to get to know a whole bunch of members. So, and I also just want to welcome everyone here to the call as well. I think we're going to have a really dynamite session here. We're going to try and keep it to an hour. Sometimes I get a little too fired up and it goes a little longer, but I'm going to do everything in my power to bring as much value as I can. And this subject for me is one of the ones that I am most passionate about, because my life, and I'll share my story just to put some context behind some of the strategies that I'm going to share. But my life completely did a 180 when I got into the industry, and we're all in the same space, in the same industry, and it's just really cool to collaborate like this and work together. Most industries, they see other folks as competitive, and as you guys know, with the Buzz Club, we're all, it's all collaborative. So it's going to be exciting. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, I'm going to be doing kind of the majority of the actual presentation. Laura's going to be handling some questions that come back, and then also doing a little bit of moderating. So we will try to get all the questions answered at the end, and we're going to take a couple pauses throughout the presentation, and we've got a couple cool things we're going to share and demonstrate too. And with that, I'm just going to
We do have one quick question about, is there a way to log in via cell? Is there like an app or?
Yeah, you can't actually pick up the video through the cell phone. Boy, that would be cool, because being on the road, it'd be very convenient. But you can at least pull through the audio that way, just by calling in on the call-in number.
Great.
All right, and so basically what we're going to go through here tonight is we're going to talk about some ninja Facebook strategies, and I call them ninja, but at the same time, I should probably change that, because they're really fundamental business strategies. We've just created, I guess you could say, a ninja tool that shares them. So, so we're gonna talk about essentially what's working extremely well in my business and with other clients that we're serving, and all of our coaching members are getting really good results with it. So it's without any hesitation, it is the biggest wave that is hitting the social media industry. It's in my opinion this is the major growth sector of social media, and what we're doing on Facebook is capitalizing on it. We're going to talk about some simple strategies that you can use to get more clients, and I just wanted to point out that I know we have a lot of advanced social media consultants and coaches on the line, but speaking with Laura about who's going to be on the line, we've got some folks from different skill sets. So I'm going to kind of do the full picture. Some of it may be basic for you, but I promise there'll be a lot of good, advanced stuff for you as well. And also, I'm going to just share my story of going through and how I went from being 50K in debt to building, a business with over 500K in revenues in less than 12 months, and share exactly how I did it, and some tangible steps for you and how you can get there too. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, because it's not. This is not. This is not about ego. This is really coming from a place of trying to help and serve, but to demonstrate how I built things. To me, it seems helpful to share the story so that you can duplicate it if you like what you see. So in my case, being an entrepreneur for 10 years, I was always chasing the dream. I did network marketing in college, actually had some good success, jumped into real estate at the wrong time, missed the bubble, had a business that failed in 2008. And the business that failed, it failed because traditional advertising just didn't work. I trusted a traditional advertising company. We did TV, we did radio, and it completely bombed. And I lost just about everything. And at that point, I found myself $50,000 in debt, near bankruptcy, and then I found internet marketing. And I did the typical thing. I went out and I bought everything, right? And I bought the courses and, racked up, a little bit more of the debt. And it was one of the best things I ever did because I educated myself on the topic. And what was great was I just focused that energy into just choosing one particular niche and decided on social media. Since doing that, I then further refined my niche and started focusing exclusively on Facebook. And I mention that because I know we're all in the social media industry, but I want to encourage you that for you to further niche down, it's the same thing as, a general practicing doctor makes good money, don't get me wrong, but it's the cardiologist that's the specialist that makes the big bucks. So I would like to encourage you to find that little segment that you're most excited about, and to really niche down, and you can find yourself being in higher demand and building your brand faster. So one of the things I found is that once I just realized what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, I was finding that I wasn't making money, and I started learning everything and educating myself, but I wasn't pulling in any money. And this guy Jonathan Budd, I met him at an event, and he said, I was asking him, I was saying, what's the secret? What do I have to do? And he looks at me and says, dude, there is no secret. You just have to take massive action. And some of the things I'm going to share were things I discovered about how to create a really high profit producing day. Things that you can do on a daily basis that focus on driving revenue to your company. And give me 1 second. I'm just going to shut the old slider here. Getting a little noisy outside. There we go. One of the benefits of working from home. Cool. All right. So in terms of branding, this is one of the things that I've looked back at and realized that I somehow accidentally did it right. And it all comes down to just positioning yourself and, again, niching down. But to go through and to take your brand, and this is in the category of being basic for you folks here on the line, but just to cover the full perspective, just to go through and just to align, whether it's the image on your blog to the image on your Facebook page to Twitter, just making those congruent is one of the best things you can do. And I remember finding in the local market, by just having that put together, it made me something. It made me someone that they perceived as what could be an expert in the industry. So it's really easy to position yourself as an expert in this industry. Even though there's a lot of social media consultants popping up, for you to have excellent branding, and you can really position yourself quickly. Now, when it comes to going out and actually getting customers, in my first 90 days, I was up against the wall. I had all that debt, and I had to cover over $3,500 a month, which was more than half of it was interest, and I had to go out and get clients, and I had to do it really fast. And so what I decided to do, the fastest way to get customers at the time, and it's still the same thing today, is to just go to your local market. It's funny, in the business, we all want to look to social media first to get customers. But if you're newer in the business, I would suggest the exact opposite. I would go literally, into your local community. And the nice thing about this is for me, this is where I gained confidence. This is where I learned how to work with a lot of different types of businesses. And all I did was I would go to a local BNI. BNI.com is an amazing resource. I would go to free Chamber of Commerce networking events. And I would just put myself in situations where I was in the same room with other business owners. And one of the things that I would focus on is that instead of going and trying to sell someone directly, I decided that I was going to focus on centers of influence. And what was really great about this strategy is that, instead of meeting someone that owns a restaurant and trying to sell them on why I'm the best at social media, instead it's what, why don't I go and why don't I find a yellowbook.com representative? They're in just about every market. They're completely nationwide, and yellowbook.com reps, they sell website services and SEO services and PPC to local businesses, and they don't really do much of anything on the social media side. So what was cool is that my very first week, I met this woman at a networking event. We had coffee. Next thing you know, same day, she's referring me business. So she's a center of influence because she's in a position to refer business consistently. And and people, folks that work at Yellowbook, I mean, they've got a territory of, you're talking, a couple hundred businesses. And as soon as you build that one relationship, it's like opening a floodgate. And I just got as soon as after we had coffee, I mean, I was getting, 6, 7, 8 referrals by the end of that week. I mean, it was really exciting. And the whole thing is that when you get referred to a business owner through a center of influence, the trust is already there. So all you have to do at that point is you're just setting up a 30-minute or a 60-minute consultation, and you're just listening. And you're just listening, and you're asking questions, and what are you doing with your social media? What are you doing with your online marketing? Figuring it out, and then that second half of that conversation, you're just sharing some of the solutions with them. And we're going to talk about what some of the things that we're selling on our side that work really well. And this is just one thing that I found to be always really beneficial, is that a lot of times, when you're out networking, you're out at events, we don't really think about these things. I mean, we all know what we do, but when in this scenario where if you're going to be meeting people at an event, you're meeting people face-to-face, your unique selling proposition and what you do and how you say that and how you position yourself is what's going to dictate how much business and referrals that you get in that environment. So in my opinion, the $1 million sentence is that the only thing I was equipped with was a business card, and I just knew what my $1 million sentence was. And so when someone said, what do you do? I would just say, I help business owners attract new customers by using effective social media marketing strategies that are easy to implement and that don't take up much time. And what do you think people said after I said that? They look at me kind of like shell-shocked and be like, really? Doesn't that stuff take up a lot of time? And isn't that stuff frustrating? You know what I mean? So you can see how just by the way I said that, I've already diffused their objections, and I've already created curiosity so that their next question is, well, how the heck do you do that? Tell me more. And that's the kind of thing where by just having that line, you can do some major damage in the local market. And so you want to make sure that you've got yours down, and at the end of the day, all you're trying to do is you're trying to create conversation. So if I wanted people to ask me that question because I knew I had a killer response that was going to generate meetings that were going to generate money, I would always run around and I'd just ask everyone about their business. And people love to tell you about their business, and inevitably they're going to ask you about yours. And then that's just an easy way. You take them from that point, you bring them straight to a free 30 or 60-minute consultation. And I looked at my life and saying, you know what, if I have to cover that much debt and that much money a month, I just need to set up 6, 7 of these things a day to cover, to get enough clients to pay that off. And as far as the networking events, I've met both of my business partners at industry events, and I've made many multiples of 6 figures from this one event, which was Eben Pagan's Guru Mastermind. And the reason is because the caliber of people that were there, I wasn't selling to them, but they were centers of influence. You had people that did, media buying, people that did SEO and all these different things, and I just started telling to people and referring people as, I'm a social media guy, and here's what I do, and I got a lot of referrals that way. So I would always suggest that these are great places where you can pick up customers, and it's not direct customers, because if you're going and you're just trying to sell people, you end up repelling people just like that, how that happens on social media. But find those centers of influence and buddy up with them, and you can be referring business back and forth pretty quickly. And other thing is that I always felt that it's kind of cheesy, and I cringe with doing it because I feel like a dork. But taking pictures with the speakers was one of the things that I recognized that was helpful in building my brand fast. So, when someone would look me up on Facebook and they'd see, oh, he's got 1,000 fans and looks like, man, he looks like he's kind of associated with all these other people. It's really branding by association. And whether they realize that you're just at an event and you're taking pictures with them or not, it helps. And that was one thing that helped me to grow quick. In terms of converting the prospects, in those 1-hour consultations, there's a questionnaire that I use. And what I can do, actually, you know what? Let me see. I've got some really cool stuff I can give you guys too. I just thought about this. Sorry I didn't have it prepared in advance. I've got another monitor here. Let me just see if I can get you guys the link.
Cool, and while he's getting you the link, if you're on Twitter, go ahead and start tweeting. We've got some people using the hashtag SBCROI. SBCROI, that's for ROI on your social media with Social Buzz Club. SBCROI. Cool.
Yes, perfect. Good call, Laura. All right, so what I'm going to do, guys, is this right here, just keep in mind, this is nothing, the Facebook Mastery Summit, this was something I did last year. So there's nothing for sale here. We're not currently selling this anymore just because it's over a year old. However, I'm going to take this link and I'm going to put it in the chat box. So if you take a look at the chat box, just click on it now so that you've got it on your browser. We don't need to tinker with it now, but I want it just so that you have it. And the reason I want to share it with you is because if you want more training on this topic, I've got a really good session here. The other thing, and there's no opt-in or anything like that, the other thing is that I have the 1-hour consultation questionnaire that you can download. I also have a 60-second commercial worksheet, an invoice template, a sample strategy. I've got one for bigger accounts that I've used. So these are just different resources. If you are kind of paving your own road, the way that I did too, these are things that might be helpful for you, and you can just check them out on your whenever you like. So to jump back,
thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So to jump back to the presentation here, so when we're in that moment with the clients on the 1-hour consultations, the same strategy that I use in the local market, and now that I've expanded and I typically do everything virtually and have clients in all throughout the US and all throughout the US in different areas in a couple different other countries, is that I still use the same process. I still take people, figure out what their challenges are on the phone, and then I provide the solutions. And some of what we're doing right now is that I'm going to share our strategy with you guys that's working extremely well, and some of the packages that we're selling that we're able to scale are just using, we've got a couple. One is just, it's the simple package. It's $9.97 and $37 a month, and that's just taking and building the custom Facebook page, giving them some training about how to use it, and following up twice a month. We've got the easy ROI package, and that's $9.97, and then it's $97 per month. And this would be in addition. These are all standalone packages. And what's cool about that is you can add these on top of each other depending on what their needs are. And I'll go into the details of what the different strategies are in a second. The other one is the massive ROI package, and that's it's $19.97, $97 a month, and this is about how to actually execute a contest. So these are things that we're able to scale because we limit the amount of time and involvement that we have with these, and we've set the expectations up front so that, because if you don't do that in the beginning when I first got started, I had a whole bunch of different clients that if you don't set really tight parameters as to what they get and what is expected, next thing you know, you're doing email support and blowing an hour a day, with one client. So now we do things on a group coaching format primarily, and we get multiple companies to be on the same smaller group setting. And what's cool about that is they actually benefit by interacting with each other. And then for you, you're able to scale your business because there's nothing worse than, having 15 clients going at the same time and they're all independent and they're not running on the same track, and you feel like you're going nuts because you're working so hard. none of us got in this business to be overworked and tired all the time. So and I've got some, and I'll be sharing more detail in just a minute about how to scale and how to leverage. And some of the other thing is doing more on the high-end consulting. This is there's a huge market and appetite for this, and how to get there is, again, brand positioning. And one of the things that I found that works extremely well for your brand positioning is running a very small budget on Facebook ads and targeting folks like chief marketing officers. And the way I would do that is I wouldn't even be selling anything. I would just run a contest, and I would run it to chief marketing officers and people with influence. And I was finding that from that process, I was getting just unbelievable clients. I mean, national clients and all kinds of unique opportunities. And so that is one thing that we're not really spending much time on the Facebook advertising side, but the way that you position yourself in ads can generate some really big, large accounts for you. Another way to get there, to get those larger accounts, is it all comes down to social proof. So when I first got started, you can see here, you're talking May of 2010. This is in a very short period of time. There's some pretty substantial growth in the business, and one of the things is that I realized that even though I had by the end of May I must have done 30 local clients and was ramping up and growing like crazy, but I didn't have a lot of fans on Facebook. And the way I looked at it and said, you know what, if I want to attract 5- and 6-figure contracts, I've got to look the part. I've got to look, there's no secret why Mari Smith does. So I mean, she is on the books and the covers and does the speaking gigs, and that's, the way that you look at how she branded herself, it's amazing, and it's something you want to model. And I looked at how she did it, and that was, I essentially emulated that process too. And not that I'm anywhere close to that, but I'm still, in my, in the growth phase here. And by getting a lot of fans, it changes your positioning. So that's one thing that you want to think about. Now, what's also helpful is you can use the review strategy that I'm going to teach, and you can do that with much less effort, and you can create the same level of social proof. But on this slide here, if you do want to get fans, you want to get them quickly, these are a couple of the things that I found that works really, really well. First and foremost, it all starts with your warm market, and you want to, of course, take the people you already know and have them sharing your page, because going out and getting strangers that like your page gives you numbers, but it's really about getting the quality of people to your page that are going to share it and all that good stuff. Now, the other thing is that using what I call the social alliance strategy, this is something that helped me to grow quite a bit and get to the 25,000 fans. At this point, being so busy, I'm kind of focusing in different areas. But when I was building building the fan base stage, this was the absolute bread and butter that worked really well. And all that is that social alliance could be as easy as taking 4 other members from the Social Buzz Club. And the same way that you guys are syndicating content, it's the same exact thing on the Facebook page. You use the feature function on a Facebook page so that I can feature Laura, and then she could feature me. And then, what if I identified that, a yellowbook.com rep is a great referral source, a accountant who is in front of a lot of businesses, identify your centers of influence, feature them on your Facebook page so that they get the traffic from it, and share their business pages in the same way that you guys are sharing content, and do it on a consistent basis. So it's kind of, it's interesting. I know, Laura and I, we had a great conversation, a couple years back before the Buzz Club started, and it was so cool because we were thinking on the same page. It's that sharing and collaboration to grow through trusted friends and referrals is what was key.
Yeah, and on the Social Buzz Club, every member gets invited to our Social Buzz Club member group on Facebook, and we can definitely ask for features there. So, yep, we have the Social Alliance going, and definitely all you members take advantage of it.
Awesome, awesome. And all right, so the next thing here is this was one of the breakthroughs I had in the business, and way back, Facebook used to have the Facebook review application. It was very similar if you think about how Facebook has their events application. They used to have the review application. And they discontinued it this past October. They're really scaling back on supporting and continuing to develop and program anything that's external outside of the timelines. So they discontinued that in October. Now, before that, I had my bread and butter strategy was essentially to get clients in the local market. And before I even had clients, I was asking past coworkers, I was asking friends and family, anybody, to recommend me on LinkedIn, to write me reviews on Facebook, because in the beginning, I didn't have the 20,000 fans to prove to people that I knew what I was doing. And having these types of reviews creates social proof that you can then use to convert prospects into customers. And so what I did was I knew that that was the type of social proof that would help me grow the business, so that's what I focused on. And what I realized is that I could take that process and I could create a contest out of it. So in some cases, we've all seen Wildfire and these other platforms where they have contests where the goal is to try and get people to share things and get people back to the page to create likes. The problem is that it ends up looking a little spammy, and it ends up bringing likes back to the page that aren't that good, and the ROI on it is unfortunately pretty sour. It's not good. So in this strategy, getting reviews from people that you already know, like, and trust is how you can create some really good earned media that can bring some good business back to you. So what I did was I set up a contest landing page, and I asked people to write a review about me as the means of entering the contest. And what I did was I also ran some ads, and I targeted chief marketing officers. And the reason I did was because I knew that they weren't going to write me a review because they don't know me. It wouldn't make sense for them to write me a review. However, I knew that I was going to get a handful of reviews that week, and I wanted other people to see that I was getting reviews and people were loving what I was doing, and I wanted people to see that experience. And so I started doing this. I started the process, and this was the first time I really realized, I discovered that how well the strategy works. And one of the indicators was, I'm on, I think it was day 2 or day 3, and I get a phone call. And the phone call is from Quincy, who's out in Honolulu, and he's saying, hey, we just saw your contest and what you're doing, and man, everything looks phenomenal. And hey, I wanted to ask you if you would be a keynote speaker at our event and in Honolulu. And I was on the phone. I mean, my jaw had just about hit my desk, and I was trying to play it cool. For me, I had never been to Hawaii. My business was just starting to grow like crazy, and he asked me if I could send him my media kit. And I responded, sure, I'll send you my media kit. No problem, Quincy, coming right up. Get off the phone, and here I am Googling, what's a media kit? I had no idea. And
That's great.
yeah, right? And what was crazy in the point of this story is that the social proof and the brand positioning that can be established by having really stellar reviews puts you in this spotlight that other people just assume you're an expert. And what's really crazy about that is I started doing this. I mean, you're talking, my first month in the business, I've always been using the strategy. And it's just wild that that how quickly you can position yourself. And then on my side, the way I looked at it is, I don't mind living outside my comfort zone. That's usually where entrepreneurs make the most money. And I would just have to figure out and just be resourceful to figure out, the bigger the client that I got, the more nerve-wracking it was. And, here I am negotiating, big proposals with legal departments and all these kinds of things, and said, you know what? I could be stressed and nervous, or I could just say, you know what, this is fun and exciting. I'm going to figure out how to do this. And so this strategy ended up bringing in some much larger accounts. And this is something that you can do in the beginning of your career in this industry to bring in some of these types of accounts. And what's really cool is that I've seen this not only work for myself, but we've got people, we've got case studies that are in the insurance industry. And we've got people that sell insurance as an independent insurance agent that have used this strategy and have gotten so much business as an insurance agent that other insurance carriers, the big boys, the big billion-dollar carriers, were so impressed at what they were doing on social media that they are now being paid to speak all over the country. And it's fascinating where you have these types of reviews, and then you spotlight them and you share them with other people, and you position yourself as an expert quickly. And
Cool.
and that kind of ties into this next piece here, which is how to get an anchor client. And an anchor client is something where these are the ones that lead you to the big 5- and 6-figure contracts and things like that. And so, for example, in the internet marketing industry, a guy like Frank Kern and Eben Pagan are like celebrities. And that was an industry that I'm familiar with, and that was, I had been to a lot of those events. So a lot, people that I was meeting at those events really respected these kinds of guys. So that's why I wanted to work with them, because I knew I could, position those, the reviews from them to continue to get larger and larger clients. Now, since then, I mean, my goal now is, I've done work with John Assaraf, and now what I'm looking at is I want to do work and consult for big national brands so that I can have those stories to get into a different market, more of the mainstream, business market. But the whole point of this slide is that by going and getting that anchor client, you can very quickly get yourself into a really higher-end network and get much larger dollars on your time by doing that. And you can do it in the local market. There's always that influencer. Maybe it's the guy or the gal that owns kind of the hip restaurant in town, and just offering to give them that free consultation and to do some work for them, even if you reduce your margins. The way I looked at it is, shoot, I did this contest for Frank. We gave away his 1963 Volkswagen bus, and he generated over 10,000 opt-ins. For me, my business took off like a rocket ship afterwards because everyone thought of Frank Kern as the big internet marketer, and I was the guy that consulted for him. Next thing you know, I was consulting for Eben and John Assaraf and a lot of other folks. So it's a great way to accelerate the size of your contracts quickly. From there, the next piece, and this was something that I identified as being one of the major leverage points. So as the business is growing and you're trading your time for money, you end up in that spot that I mentioned a second ago, which is, hey, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm making more money than I was before. I love what I do, but you hit this inevitable point where you are working like crazy, and even if you're making money, there's this balance in this point where what is it worth to you? I mean, shoot, even if you make $300,000 a year, is it worth 14 hours a day? And that's the whole catch of an entrepreneur, or the conundrum of an entrepreneur. And what I would suggest is what is great to do is, if you have those customers and those clients and you work with them, you're creating real data. You're creating a knowledge about a certain industry. For example, if you niche down and you become the Facebook marketing expert for the real estate industry, for realtors, the more niche you get, the faster your growth is, right? If you do that, or even if you, no matter who your clients are, every time you work with a client, there's a story to be told. And that story contains proof. And what's cool about that is, if you create some results for your client, that success can be packaged into an information product that helps more people. And what I like about making it specific to an industry is because you can increase your dollars. This comes back to being the general practitioning doctor or the specialist. So, for example, in the insurance industry, I have a 6-figure contract with, it was my largest account, and I got them within my first 90 days. I got a consulting contract. After I proved myself, I got a much larger 6-figure one. Now, they were in the insurance industry, and as soon as I proved that I could get results for an independent insurance agent, what I then did is I started, I found that, I was acquiring these types of clients at a rapid pace, and then I realized that if I were to take that industry and create insurance, how to do social media for insurance specific playbook and a manual and training, and completely tailored to that industry, the premium you get on your time and your money is exponential because that industry is willing to pay major dollars to have that knowledge. Because otherwise, they're learning about general social media practices. Whereas I could come to them and I could say, look at these 10 case studies in this industry. Look what we've done. And now look at this product and how we can scale it to the whole industry. So all a good information product is it's just taking real proof from what you're doing with your customers and just putting it behind, it could be a PDF. It could be a video series. It could be as simple as, someone could pay you $500 and they're on the phone with you 4 times. You could have 15 people join that. And what's great about having the information products is that if you're working with the customers anyway, you already have the data. You already have the content because you just did it. You just need to structure your contracts so that you make sure that they're aware that any of the public information that you do with them is something that you can repurpose and essentially use in training. And that's one of the things I put in my contracts because I've identified that every time I work with a client, I'm trading time for money. But if I can take that story and I can repurpose it and I can sell what we did for them and the impact, I can monetize that thing all day long for the rest of the year. And so the other benefit behind taking a customer, creating an info product, creating a leveraged income stream is the brand positioning. As soon as you become the person that is the owner, creator, or founder, whether it's an online event, whether it's a product, it changes you. It changes your brand. You become the founder of something. Laura is a founder of the Social Buzz Club. That is excellent for her brand. Soon after I started, I created the Facebook Mastery Summit. And all I did is I featured other experts. I was a little concerned of my own confidence and being on there, and shoot, I got some of the biggest names I knew in Facebook marketing, and I put them all in one panel, and I charged $500. Made 6 figures just doing that. So it's not as cumbersome and challenging as I think some people perceive it to be to create one of these information products. And the brand positioning really will help you scale and will help you leverage your time. And where my business has evolved to is we are now focusing heavily on the group training because we can take a couple thousand people through a training program with weekly calls, and we can make 7 figures, whereas my time will only allow me to build a 6-figure business. Number 9 here, this is just the other thing that I think in our industry, I think we're a little bit different than most industries, and I've always just had the attitude that the more you can help others, the faster you're going to take off. And I found in the internet marketing industry, a lot of people were focused more on making short-term money and not focusing on lifetime value of the customer. And everything that I've done, from whether it's consulting with someone or group coaching, everything is about over-delivering. And one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life was Delivering Happiness by Tony Asai of Zappos, and that's the theme of their entire book. And it's one of these things where we'll sell an information product or live group coaching, and they'll be happy about what they purchased, and then we'll give them a completely unadvertised, unexpected bonus in the same way that Zappos, when someone buys shoes on their website, they will give them a free upgrade to like overnight delivery. That was one of these things in their books, and it just floors people. And the reason you want to do that is because if you over-deliver, that right there is what's going to create your earned media. That right there is what's going to get someone else to say, wow, I had the greatest experience working with Laura. I was expecting X, and she gave me X plus Y. And we are so beat up with advertising and marketing messages in this day and age. For you to be someone to go so far above and beyond to exceed their expectations will very quickly position you in their mind as being incredible in your industry. And so that's one of those things that I think is great to do. We've also made it part of a new company that we started. We're giving away $10 per unit that we're selling in this launch we're doing to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I think overall it's just, if you can do something great with some of the money that comes in while you're building the business, to me that's always been a dream. So that's I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, right. And this last slide here, just on this topic, this is the full perspective of, I kind of wanted to give you the full ride of going from the local market, creating the products and creating the leverage and building it up. And I just want everyone to know, and we are in the most exciting time in the social media industry, because there are these huge advertising companies. There are so many companies out there right now that are desperate for the right help, for qualified people to help manage their social media. People are still trying to figure this stuff out, and that's what's a great opportunity for us. And for you to build up your book of business, there are a lot of companies that are willing to pay for that. For example, if Laura had 100 real estate agencies or agents in that one industry, and she was teaching them all how to do social media marketing, there are companies that coach real estate agents on a national level that could say, shoot, we could try and figure out social media and add that to our program, or we could buy Laura and buy her company, and she might have 100 customers. We could get her another 1,000, and it's a win-win. So, I mean, if you think about who your end buyer is of your business, focus on what they're looking for. And so with my business, I built up, and I ended up having a lot of accounts in that insurance industry, and ended up positioning my brand with all these reviews. And my largest client recognized that if they're trying to do digital marketing for insurance, and I'm their social media guy, and they're paying me very, very well, and I'm doing it, and the business is growing and it's accelerating fast, I created this thing called the fan reviews application, and it is literally the technology that is fueling the growth for our customers, and they offered to buy the whole company. And from that scenario, I wasn't willing to sell the whole thing, but I sold equity. I sold a piece of it. So I'm now went from being Nick Gunsworth, the guy that eventually had one assistant, to now, I just merged with this $20 million company, and they handle all of our HR, they handle our legal, our accounting, all that stuff, which is, in my opinion, that's the not so fun stuff. Folks like us on this call, we're probably the ones that enjoy being involved in social media, that probably enjoy the people and the creating and working with people, but all the stuff of, negotiating contracts and suppliers and, accounting, and to me, those are operational things that are so not what I want to do. And, what's cool is that there are companies that need what we do, and whether you're, whether it's a big or a small scenario where you're partnering up with another company, this to me is where you create major leverage. And so by doing this, it's kind of been like this has been my dream since I was a little kid, but to have now a full team, now it's, instead of 14-hour days, I can be a normal human being and, have more like 8-hour days, So from that scenario, I mention all that because it is so much closer than I think many people realize, and it's easier to accomplish than I think what people think is possible. And I just would love to see and encourage you guys to just focus on particular industries, and then get yourself in front of people where you could potentially partner up and create leverage. Okay, so what we can do right now is I'd like to share this link with you guys. Whoa. All right, so I'm going to take and I'm going to share this link. And if you guys are digging the training so far, I'm going to put this into the chat box, and this is going to take you to the Social Buzz fan page. So if you click on that link, and it's not only going to take you to the Social Buzz Club fan page, but it's going to take you specifically to the fan reviews application. And I bring this up because this is the tool that I've found that's creating the best results for the clients, and this is allowing us to sell what we do at a much higher premium. And to me, if you're in the social media industry, this is a great way where you can use this to build your own business in the same way that I did, which is the first main focal point and benefit. And then the other thing is that you can take this and use this to monetize and to offer a tangible solution on how to get customers using this application for businesses. So for us, it's a win-win. You know what I mean? For you guys, there's two ways you can take advantage of it. So if you click on the link, and if you're digging the training, you can go ahead and give a 1 to 5 star review. And then just write and share why you're fired up. So, and then we'll after this point we'll show you guys all the details about how it works, and then give you some more training and share with you what we're doing with it.
So while people are doing that, this is an application that somebody's asking, can we add it to our fan pages?
Say again?
We're just one of the gals asked, is this an application that they can add to their fan pages?
Yes. So the way it works is we are doing a product launch with this, and we are opening this up. We've been this is the tool. When Facebook discontinued their review application, I created and built this, and we've been testing it for close to a year and creating case studies, proving that it generates ROI. And we are going to be sharing this with everyone on July 30th. It's going to be open to the public to purchase. So what's cool is that, so at that point you can certainly add this to your page if you'd like. Now, there's nothing for sale here on this line right now, but what's cool is that if we go through the rest of this presentation and you look at this and say, man, this could really help my business and it can help my clients, what I'd like to suggest is, well, then let's get you a copy for free. And I'll share with you how you can do that, and you can use this as a way where, as an affiliate, you can share this with other business owners that you already know, and anyone that sells 5 copies will get not only the application for 12 months, but they'll also get all of our training and stuff like that for free as well.
That's great. It's a great application, especially since Facebook eliminated their reviews. That was really disappointing to a lot of people. And
oh yeah,
it's a fabulous way to get reviews and to have that social proof that you're talking about.
Exactly, and so you'll see here. I mean, it was simple as I just typed it in there and I hit submit review, and at that point you can comment and you can engage and respond. Now, what's cool about that is that by hitting that review, what will happen is, let me pull up the.
So do you want people to just reply to somebody within there, or write a brand new review?
Yeah, you can go ahead and you can write a brand new review, and you can comment, or you can just go ahead and type in a review, and you could even just respond like, on a webinar with Nick and Laura, this thing is, we're really excited, whatever you'd want. But what you'll find is that by writing the review, you'll notice that it says, I just gave Social Buzz Club a 5-star review. What do you think? Fired up to be on a live webinar with Laura and so what's happening is that this is sharing out to my friends on Facebook, and what we're finding that the result of that is that when someone writes that review and it shares out on Facebook, it's a high quality type of content. So this type of content is it's a recommendation, it's a review. And by doing so, the more tangible the reviews that you ask people to write, the more likely they are to bring business back. So what will happen is the application sits on the Facebook page, like you saw. It adds onto the page as it was on the Social Buzz Club. And then for every review, it shares out to Facebook what the person said. And if you think about how reviews operate, reviews typically, you have to go to Yelp. You have to go and search on Google to find reviews. So if we're looking for a nice restaurant, out here in San Diego, you would have to go ahead and search. And at that point, what would you do if you saw 5 restaurants that each have 20 reviews? If all those reviews, if you look at them, you can definitely make a buying decision by looking and reading through other reviews. But what if you were on Facebook and then across your news feed came across and it was a review from Laura, and she was saying, I'm really excited about, I just had the best steak of my life at Morton Steakhouse, and what's happening is that review just found you. You didn't have to look for it. So that's a pretty interesting differentiator between how reviews currently operate, we have to find them, versus what we've created is that they go out and they find people. And I get the question that comes back, and people will say, well, if you have 500 friends on Facebook, not all of them are going to see the review. And my response is always, that's totally fine. Because if Laura writes a review for someone or for a business or a product or a service, she may not have influence over 500 people. Typically we only have, tight relationships with like a couple hundred people. So what happens is Facebook will show that status update to the people who Laura does have influence over. And
So
that's
you
what
had a
matters.
couple of people who said they wrote a review and got a pop-up about allowing it.
Yes.
Which they did, and then it redirected them back to the review page, and then their review was gone.
Yeah, and the way the way that it works with the application is that you'll see on mine, and I apologize, I should have mentioned that when you write the review, in my case it went through automatically because I have already allowed the application. So the application, you have to be logged into Facebook, and you have to go through and click submit. The allow button is asking permission for it to then get shared out, and at that point it brings you back here. And then you have to, depending on your browser settings, it will auto-populate what you just typed, and then you click the Submit Review button. And at that point, you'll have the reviews that can push through.
And can you use it as a page or just as your person?
Yeah, and now, and that's a great question, because even though my name is Nick Unsworth, the thing is that the review application, it only works with a business page. And so as a business page, this application does not tie onto a personal. So you'll see here, it's at Social Buzz Club, it's the Facebook business page. It's not on, Laura's personal profile. And that's just because you can only add the applications to a business page. And writing the reviews, consumers can write reviews with their personal profile.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for putting your reviews in there. And Monique, I'm sorry about the challenge there originally with the. And we had one other question. How do the reviews test on Google?
Yep. So the reviews, what will happen is that the reviews will populate on. They will share on Facebook. So because they're being shared on Facebook and because it's within an application, there really isn't much SEO action that they're going to do for you. Now, what we have done that is that's really cool is we take the reviews, and Laura, I'd like to mention real quick too. And Laura, if you go to your settings page. Click on fan reviews and click on settings, and I can show you on my page.
I'm on the settings page.
Okay, and then I'll show you guys, and I'll show you on the screen here too, Laura. So by doing so, and this is just my Facebook page where my application sits, and I click on settings, and then I click on social discovery, and I would take this, and it says post to your fan page wall. You can just turn that off for right now, just because you're getting a flurry of reviews.
Okay, so social discovery. Okay.
Yep, and you can turn that off. Now, here's the thing: as a fan page owner, you want to have a couple. As we all know, we want to have a couple status updates that go out in a given day and what have you. Now, what's cool about the way that the app operates is that, in addition for me writing a review for Laura and getting pushed out to my friends on Facebook, in addition to that, it will take and it will share that status update for the fans to see. And one of the things we identified is that when building your brand through Facebook, if you can take the reviews from other people and you can share them for your fans to see, they may not buy, they may not be a customer yet, but if they on a weekly basis see, wow, I just used Social Buzz Club and my business grew by X, or I really got X value out of this, and over time, the positioning that's created by seeing those reviews over and over and over again, it positions you as the expert. It positions your company and your brand as the best at what you do. And I took that concept and I ran with it. So when I was building my business, I mean, if I work, when I work with Frank Kern, you can absolutely, I asked him to write me a review. I took that review, and at the time I didn't have this tool. I had the Facebook one. I sent that out for everyone to see. I've even taken reviews. I got a review from John Asaraf. I took that review, and I ran a Facebook ad that shared what he said about me. Because at the end of the day, no one really wants to hear me telling people why I think I'm good at what I do, but hearing it from someone else who other people trust makes all the difference in the world. So, so what's cool about that is, the application will do, and it will create content for you.
I love that.
And if you think in the reason I bring this up and I want to spend a minute on it is think about that local company, right? That local restaurant, or that's not a great example. The best example is probably a local insurance agency, because if you're the social media consultant for a local insurance agency, what the heck would you write about insurance? What would you, and not even you personally, but what would you tell them to write about? Local news, things about the office, stuff in the industry. It's tough, and what we found is that none of that stuff mattered. No one cared about that stuff, and no one wanted to hear about insurance either. So what we did was we literally created what we call the fan reviews on autopilot process, so that every time that insurance agent sells a policy, in the same breath, when they should be asking, hey, who else do you know that I can give a quote to and ask for referrals, that same breath they're saying, would you mind writing me a quick Facebook fan review and sharing your experience working with me? And by doing so, that creates, if Laura was an insurance agent and I wrote a review for her and said, wow, I can't thank you enough, Laura. I used to have Progressive, and man, this has been much more fun in working with you, and you saved me $350 a year. Thank you so much. And what if my friends on Facebook see that, on their newsfeed, because it pushes out? What will happen is that people, my friends, may not be aware of who Laura is yet, but if they see that I'm saving money and I'm happy with the service and I write that kind of glowing review, then they may, that may prompt them to reach out to Laura to do business. And so that's the whole thing, is that it provides not only the lead generation, but it also provides the content on the page, so that, for these insurance guys, the only thing that they're doing for content is they're just sharing a review, a couple reviews a week, and that's good enough. So, so that's kind of one example on my side personally. I'll take reviews and I will promote them to my fans, and I will even run ads with the reviews, like I said, because that's the best form of social proof. And this all comes back to the training before, which is get the anchor client and get that testimonial or a review from them, and then position that in your marketing. So it's an easy way to, this tool provides an easy way to not only create content, but to create lead generation, because it's being pushed out from peers to peers.
We do have a question here. That Nancy here says, it finally worked using Facebook as myself, and now I have 3 different reviews on my wall and can't delete 2 of them without deleting the app. So just a little thing for maybe your people to check into.
Yeah, and did she do it on a mobile device? Is that what I heard?
No, she said it finally worked as when she was using Facebook as herself versus her fan page.
Oh, yeah, and that's important to note, is that because Facebook is, the way that applications tie in is that they cannot, there's the Facebook applications, and this is across the board, this is something that is a little bit tough to work with, because Facebook, they don't make this clear in any of the things that pop up or the allow boxes or anything, but you cannot be logged in as a business page if you're writing the review. Right. And so you have to be on a personal profile, because it shares to friends. There's no ability, Facebook doesn't have they don't give us the ability to make it where a fan page can review a fan page. And so in that case, then what you can do is, if you do delete the application, it's no problem. Next time you come back to Social Buzz Club or anyone else that has it, it will just it'll ask you to log in and allow it again.
And okay, great. Thanks.
And let me see here. The other piece is that with looking at the reviews, you can take them and you can display the reviews in different places. So to demonstrate how that works, if you come to
That is the coolest.
yeah, this is a really cool piece. So we've got the website widget. So you can see here, you can have your title, have what it says, width, height, reviews for a page, and then you can generate the code. You copy and paste this, and then you put it over on your blog. You put it on your website. You put it wherever you'd like, and you can demonstrate these reviews anywhere you want. And so what we're finding with local businesses, for local business to have adequate social proof, you need to have over 500 fans. For a social media consultant, I mean, shoot, if you don't have 500 fans and you're going into some businesses that are have a big fan base and things like that, you're trying to command good amount of dollars. They may look at you and say, well, how come you don't have and you may get judged, right? The alternative is if you go through and you have your widget and you've got even 3 reviews that are stellar, this can replace the need to have thousands of fans because we're finding that these speak louder than a like box and having a whole bunch of fans. And then another thing is that you can see here everyone's personal profile is pulled in with the reviews. So if you've ever wondered, if you're looking at reviews on Yelp or on Google and you say, I wonder if that's the business owner, or I wonder if that's, their competitor that's writing that. What's cool is that it's all authenticated through Facebook. So it adds an extra step in the review process. And the occasional hiccup with that process in Facebook, how they authenticate. But the result is you get much more transparent, authentic reviews from real people. And one last just little functionality piece on this is that you'll see here that in the tool, you can make sure that the only reviews that go out virally, both to the fan page wall and to the users wall, you can set it up so that it will only share them if it's let's say 4 stars. Because what will happen is sometimes business owners say, well, what happens if I get a bad review? Well, if you get a bad review, it will still populate here so that you can handle it and you can respond and you can do the right thing and fix it and turn it around. But there's no reason to take and promote that thing and to share it for their friends to see, and certainly no reason for you to share it to all your fans. So it's kind of a nice feature that it's kind of like reputation management built in. So that it's only going to share the good ones or share the reviews if they're good, and everything else still has integrity. It will still populate, and you can handle it, and you can work it from there. And what we're doing is that we have found that there's different ways to ask for reviews, and the way that you ask for the review will sometimes dictate how good the reviews are. And so we figure why leave that to chance? You can simply ask questions like, we have one gentleman that is a property manager at a real estate apartment complex, and the line that they used and they had success with is, tell us why you love living at River Edge Terrace. So everyone that answered that question, they were coming back and really singing praise about it. And so other than that, there's a couple other things, and I know we're getting a little bit thin on time, so I won't go too far into detail on this, but let me just get you an example. Wait while that boots up.
And while that's booting up, someone was asking, how do you get the widget on your website? Well, there's code that was in the back end of that app on Facebook, right? That you just copy and paste into your WordPress site or into the HTML of your website. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. And you can put it on any web property, and by plugging in that code. And we will have tutorials on how to do that stuff as well. And so this is an example of if we all looked at each other and said, okay, well, getting reviews is a good thing. If we assume that reviews are good for the business, then the next thing is saying, well, shoot, if we get a review a week or a couple reviews a week, and we are finding that we're getting a couple new prospects over time, then why don't we get a lot of reviews quickly and let's create some real return on investment fast. So this is a much, it's a little bit of an advanced strategy, but what we've done is that we've put together a very basic, you can see here, this was done with just a page builder, a free page builder, app, and you can put together a contest. And in this case, John was giving away tickets to his event in San Diego as the prize. And the method of entering the contest was writing a review. And what's really exciting about that is it allowed him to generate a ton of reviews. And you can see here that in his case, he generated now he has 274 reviews. And so when he did this, he generated a little over 200. And what's cool about that is by generating those reviews, that created, look what people are writing. This is stuff that, for someone's friend to see, this level of appreciation for what he's done. This is really, really good stuff. And it brought back some really high quality people to the page and folks that, ultimately bought and that attended the event that he was looking to sell. So it's just a different type of a strategy, but it's something that we found that works really well. And in our product launch, we have a whole bunch of different examples about that. And what I can do is to share with you guys, if you guys would like more information about the strategies and what we're doing and how and why, let me get this link. I'm going to put this in the chat box. And if you just take this thing and click on it real quick, you can pop in your email address. And don't you worry, we're only sending out really good stuff with free videos. So nothing, we won't pester you.
Is this how they can get their copy?
Yeah, and what I'd like to share with this is that when you click on that link and you enter, we have really, really nice, high-quality videos that we put together that explain the data and the details behind all of this stuff. So, so you can go through here and you'll see that we've got a whole bunch of action on here, and we've got professional, high-quality videos that share more of the detail and the data and the case studies behind what we're doing and why. And what's really cool is that we've got a video that's coming out tomorrow that's getting into the detail of specific brand building activities, how to use this to build out the automated review strategy. Then the next video we have a whole bunch of different case studies from different walks of life that have created a literal return on investment with this. And that's what's really, really cool is that, for us as social media consultants, how many times do we hear, what's the ROI of social media? And it's always been something that that in the industry, even some of the big name speakers, you kind of have to tiptoe around that topic. And in this case, by using the strategy and by putting a contest behind it, we're able to demonstrate a literal return on investment within the contest period. And that's what's really, really exciting about it. So again, if you just click on the chat box and you check out that link, you can, if you'd like more, if you like this topic and you're fired up to check it out and learn more about it, that's a way you can get these videos completely for free. At the end on July 30th, we are selling the program. Many folks, this is the kind of thing where people would look at this and, in the internet marketing industry, this is, we're building this up as if it's a $2,000 product, and we have sold this for $2,000 in different industries, but we are selling this for $297 down the road, and we're not even selling anything now. But I just want to just be completely transparent. We are launching a product. The reason it's also good to know that we are doing that is because for you guys, if you see this as an opportunity to share this with your clients and to help them implement this, or if you just want to get it completely for free, I've got another link which is going to share with you guys, and this would be how you could join and be an affiliate. And what we're doing is we are, if you go and you look in the chat box and you click on that link, we have a tremendous amount of prizes and all kinds of cool things that we're giving away. And by being an affiliate, we're paying out a 50% commission for anyone that sells the Review Engine ROI program. Once you get through here, we have all kinds of details about what's in the product, how we deliver the coaching, and all kinds of marketing collateral and things like that. And what's nice about this is that we've got folks that are just using this as an easy method to, they'll sell this package to the business owner, and then they'll upsell some of the things that you can do, like the contest and how to implement the contest, and provide that as a service in a consulting contract in addition to the app and the tool. So this is kind of what we were mentioning at the beginning of the call of, this is another way where you can monetize, and you can not only use this to build your own brand, but you can use this to help build the ROI of the clients in that market too.
That's awesome. So people can take two actions at this point. They can learn more about the system itself through the videos, and they can sign up to be an affiliate of the product so they can sell it to clients and or colleagues using the two links you just put in the chat box.
Exactly. And the way that we're structuring the product is it's kind of like if you think of North Social, they're an app provider, and they're right around the $30 a month for 12 months. Our pricing at $297 is it's less than if you annualize that. And then in addition to the app, we're doing 6 live coaching sessions, and one of the sessions does go through and talk about how to literally sell this to local businesses, and we're going to have different templates and proposals and all kinds of good stuff that you can use to use this not only for your own business, but to use to monetize in the local market with other businesses if you'd like, which is cool. We have we're finding that if you use it for yourself and you get really good results, it's the next logical thing is you end up saying, well, shoot, I could add this to I can offer this as a solution to all the other customers and clients that you've got too.
Awesome. Thank you. This is fabulous. And I'm just going to check and see if we have any questions coming in from people. We'll stay on the line a little bit longer. I know we've taken up a little bit more than an hour, but your strategies are powerful. Nick, thank you so much. And the tool you're offering, I know people are chomping at the bit to get it, so officially they can't get it until the 31st, but between now and then they can learn all about it. They can put themselves on the list to get it, be the first one to get it, and certainly be a reseller through the affiliate process.
Yep, so totally. Yep, and
you've done like, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. You go.
I was going to say, you've just done an extraordinary job putting the whole thing together so that we get educated on it and we can take advantage of it.
Absolutely, and it's a small community of social media consultants that we've got here, and the more we can work together to share what's working, we're going to have a really nice level of communication by having these calls live, and it's going to be fun to see how other social media folks are using it with for their businesses and with their clients, and it's going to be fun. So we're going to have a good time. We're all going to help a lot of businesses with their social media marketing, and one of the main things that is a breath of fresh air for a lot of the businesses is they're so challenged with all the things that they need to do on social media. So we're finding that this is really cool because it's one simple thing that they can plug in, and then anytime they sell something, they ask for a review. And if they do nothing else on Facebook, if literally they don't even log in and respond to stuff, this is going to be something that will handle a lot of the heavy lifting for them. It handles the outbound, their customers sharing it with their friends, and then it's going to handle the content to their own fans by sharing out those reviews. So that's just you can never automate social media by any means, and that's not what I'm saying particularly, but it's to automate reviews going out is something that works extremely well. So we found a way to make it easy for people, and that's what's really cool.
Okay, so we had one question before we wrap up. Is there a difference with the products in products versus services type of businesses?
That is a great question, and we're finding that, it really depends. Some industries are a service, like insurance is an intangible, but anyway, anytime there's anything that has to do with saving money is always going to perform really well because that's people are very focused on that. But anytime, whether it's a product or a service, there's always a story to be told. And so there's not a major differentiator between the two. It's just about the person's experience with it. And part of what we do in the training is we just want to make sure that when you're asking for the reviews, you're essentially, when you're asking, you're asking the reviewer to be as specific about the results that they got, because it's the results that their friends see that it compel them to click through and to find out more. So that's a main piece, is people sharing their results. But whether it's a product or service, as long as people are sharing what the benefits were and the results, it'll help to bring some people back.
And then there was another question. I think it's a good one. If a bad review comes in and it's not posted to the page, is the page owner able to address it as well?
Yeah. So here in this example, you can see here I've got a 4-star review from Cheryl. Now, if she wrote a 1-star review, that would still populate right here. The only thing it's not doing is we're not going to take that and share it to I'm not going to share that to my fans. So the tool will, based on the star rating, it's not going to syndicate it to the fans, and it's not going to syndicate it to all of her friends if it's a negative review. Because at the end of the day, if you're sharing something negative, it's really not enhancing anyone's life per se.
But it will show up on the page?
It will show up here on this section. Yes.
Okay.
Now, what you can do at this point, if there are, in some cases, there's, if someone ever wrote something, whether it's, profanity, something like that, you do have the ability where you could delete that review. But what we're doing in the training is that if you get a bad one, there's studies that show by commenting and turning it around and having the person come back and repost can be a benefit. So we've got some trainings that kind of share how to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to keep anyone. I know it's getting late. We had people here from the UK, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, boy.
So we've gotten some tweets going, and we'll be buzzing with you. You can certainly reach me at Coach Laura on Twitter, of course, at Social Buzz Club as well. And on the fan page, if you have any questions, please send us a message, and we'll get back to you. We'll even call you back if you need it. And, Nick, thank you for your time and your wisdom and your applications and the hard work you've put into this. I know it's going to benefit all of us, and I look forward to talking to you more about promoting it and using it and helping other people use it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope you guys enjoyed, and looking forward to keeping in touch with you soon. Talk to you guys.
Okay.
Talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.